59. BP and Chevron are also the largest contributors to Israeli imports of crude oil. As major owners of the strategic Azeri-Baku-Tbilisi-Ceyhan pipeline and the Kazakh-Caspian pipeline consortium, respectively, and of their associated oil fields. Each conglomerate effectively supplied 8% of Israeli crude oil between October 2023 and July 2024, supplemented by crude oil shipments from Brazilian oil fields, in which Petrobras holds the largest stakes, and military jet fuel. Oil from these companies supplies 2 refineries in Israel, from the Haifa refinery. 2 OHCHR database listed companies supply their petrol stations throughout Israel and the occupied Palestinian territory, including the colonies and the military, through government-awarded contracts. From Ashdod Refinery, a subsidiary of the OHCHR database listed company PATS Retail and Energy Ltd, provides jet fuel to the Israeli Air Force operating in Gaza. By supplying Israel with coal, gas, oil, and fuel, companies are contributing to civilian infrastructures that Israel uses to entrench permanent annexation and now weaponizes in the destruction of Palestinian life in Gaza. The same infrastructure that these companies supply resources into has serviced the Israeli military and its energy-intensive, tech-driven obliteration of Gaza. The ostensibly civilian nature of such infrastructure does not exonerate a company from responsibility. Trading the fruits of illegality. Agribusiness. 61. Agribusiness has thrived on Israel-led extractivism and land grabbing, producing goods and technologies serving Israeli settler colonial interests, expanding market dominance and attracting global investment while erasing Palestinian food systems and accelerating displacement. 62. Tnuva, the largest food conglomerate in Israel, now majority owned by the Chinese Bright Food Group Co. Ltd, has fueled and benefited from land dispossession. Tnuva's chairman recognized that agriculture in general and dairy farming in particular are a strategic resource and a significant pillar in the settlement enterprise. Israel has used kibbutzim and agricultural outposts to seize Palestinian land and replace Palestinians. Companies like Tnuva helped by sourcing products from these colonies, then exploit the resulting captive Palestinian market to build market dominance. Palestinian dependence on the Israeli dairy industry has increased 160% in the decade following disruption caused by Israel to Gaza's dairy industry in 2014, amounting to sector losses estimated at $43 billion. Tunisia has absorbed the loss of the Gaza market, failing to use its substantial leverage to influence the situation. 63. Netafim, a global leader in drip irrigation technology, now 80% owned by the Mexican company Orbia Advance Corporation, has designed its agri-tech in concert with the expansion imperatives of Israel. While maintaining a global image of sustainability, Netafim technology has enabled intensive exploitation of water and land in the West Bank, further depleting Palestinian natural resources while being refined through collaboration with Israel military technology firms. In the Jordan Valley, Netafim-aided irrigation systems have facilitated Israeli crop expansion, while Palestinian farmers denied water and with 93% unirrigated land are pushed out, unable to compete with Israeli production. Furthermore, such irrigation techniques threaten to exhaust the Jordan River and Dead Sea. 64. Companies such as Tunisia and Netafim continue to manufacture food security for Israelis, while the food system to which they belong causes food insecurity and even famine for others. Netafim brands itself as a sustainable innovator while perfecting age-old techniques of colonial exploitation. Global retail. 65. Israeli products, including those from colonies, flood global markets through major retailers, often with no scrutiny. To dodge growing backlash, companies mask origin through misleading labels, barcodes, and supply chain mixing, effectively making occupation shelf-ready. 66. Global logistics giants like A.P. Møller Maersk A.S. are integral to this ecosystem. For years, they have shipped goods from the colonies and OHCHR database-listed companies straight to the United States and other markets. 67. In many countries, no distinction is made between products from Israel and those from its colonies. Even in the European Union, when labeling is required, these goods are still allowed on the market, and the responsibility is put on uninformed consumers. Given the illegality of the colonies under international law, these products should not be traded at all. 68. Supermarket chains, including many listed in the OHCHR database, and e-commerce platforms such as Amazon.com, operate directly in colonies, sustaining their economy, enabling expansion, and participating in apartheid through discriminatory service delivery. Occupation tourism. 69. Major online travel platforms used by millions to reserve accommodation profit from the occupation by selling tourism that sustains the colonies, excludes Palestinians, promotes settler narratives, and legitimizes annexation. 70. Booking Holdings Inc. and Airbnb Inc. list properties and hotel rooms in Israeli colonies. Booking.com has more than doubled its listings in the West Bank from 26 in 2018 to 70 by May 2023 and tripled its East Jerusalem listings to 39 in the year past October 2023. Airbnb has also amplified its colonial profiteering, growing from 139 listings in 2016 to 350 in 2025, collecting up to 23% commission. These listings are linked with restricting Palestinian access to land and endangering nearby villages. In Tekoa, Airbnb enables settler promotion of a warm and loving community, whitewashing settler violence against a neighboring Palestinian village of Tuku. 71. Booking.com and Airbnb have been in the OHCHR database since 2020. Booking.com may label properties as Palestinian territory, Israeli settlement, but it continues to profit from the colonies and faces criminal compliance in the Kingdom of the Netherlands for laundering proceeds. Airbnb briefly delisted illegal colony properties in 2018, but reversed course under pressure, now donating profits to humanitarian causes and converting colonial profiteering into humanitarian washing. C. Enablers 72. A list of enablers, financial, research, legal, consulting, media, and advertising firms long involved in sustaining the settler colonial occupation through knowledge, narratives, skills, and investment, have continued to support, profit from, and normalize an economy operating in genocidal mode. The present section is focused just on two key enablers, the financial and academic sectors. Financing the violations. 73. The financial sector channels critical funding to both state and corporate actors behind the Israeli occupation and apartheid, despite many companies in the sector committing to the principles for responsible investment and the United Nations Global Compact. 74. As the main source of finance for the Israeli state budget, treasury bonds have played a critical role in funding the ongoing assault on Gaza. From 2022 to 2024, the Israeli military budget grew from 4.2% to 8.3% of GDP, driving the public budget into a 6.8% deficit. Israel funded this ballooning budget by increasing its bond issuance, including $8 billion in March 2024 and $5 billion in February 2025, alongside issuances on its domestic new shekel market. Some of the world's largest banks, including BNP Paribas and Barclays, stepped in to boost market confidence by underwriting these international domestic treasury bonds, allowing Israel to contain the interest rate premium despite a credit downgrade. Asset management firms, including BlackRock, $68 million, Vanguard, $546 million, and Alliance Asset Managed subsidiary PIMCO, $960 million, were among at least 400 investors from 36 countries who purchased them. Meanwhile, the Development Corporation for Israel, i.e. Israel Bonds, provides a bond solicitation service for the government of Israel for overseas private individuals and other investors. The Development Corporation for Israel tripled its annual bond sales to funnel nearly $5 billion to Israel since October 2023, while offering investors the option of sending the return on bond investments to charitable organizations supporting the Israeli military and the colonies. 75. These financial entities channel billions of dollars into treasury bonds and companies directly involved in Israeli occupation and genocide. BlackRock and its subsidiary iShares and Vanguard are among the largest institutional investors in many companies, holding these shares for distribution among their indices of mutual funds and electronically traded funds, ETFs. BlackRock is the second largest institutional investor in Palantir, 8.6%, Microsoft, 7.8%, Amazon.com, 6.6%, Alphabet, 6.6%, and IBM, 8.6%, and third largest in Lockheed Martin, 7.2%, and Caterpillar, 7.5%. Vanguard is the largest institutional investor in Caterpillar, 9.8%, Chevron, 8.9%, and Palantir, 9.1%, and second largest in Lockheed Martin, 9.2%, and Elbit Systems, 2.0%. Through their asset management, they implicate universities, pension funds, and ordinary people who passively invest their savings through the purchase of their funds and electronically traded funds. For their investment decisions, these companies often rely on benchmark indices such as FTSE, All World Ax US, JP Morgan Dollar EM Corp Bond UCITS, and MSCI ACWI UCITS, which are developed by financial services firms.